In southern Lebanon, Orla Guerin reports.
They came in their thousands, so many they clogged the roads. This was the start of a mass return. Some going home to nothing, but the mood was victorious. Here in the south of Lebanon, no one doubts that Hizb-Allah won this war. They used a makeshift bridge to cross the Litani River, and they headed on to areas deeply scarred by war. En route through the wreckage, we found the Gharib family, their car so full that one of them sat on top. It wasn't an easy journey, and they didn't know if their house was still standing, but they said they'd pitch a tent if they had to. Then, a tense moment. They were back, outside the front gates, wondering what they'd find. But the house was in one piece. Thank God nothing happened, Shahnaz said. Inside, she and her husband Ali told me they'd had to live as refugees for a month, but Hizb-Allah had made them proud. Nearby, we glimpsed some of its fighters. Israeli snipers were still operating today. The fighters were jumpy and camera shy. But 10 minutes up the road, we saw some of their arsenal. This is a classic example of what Hizb-Allah has been fighting with. What we found here is an anti-tank gun mounted on a jeep. Now, we have to be extremely careful about moving around here because this area is littered with unexploded munitions. We've counted about a dozen or so unexploded warheads just lying on the ground. Now, it's with weapons like this that Hizb-Allah did battle against one of the most powerful armies in the world. We saw evidence of fierce gunfights between the two sides. The face of Hizb-Allah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, took a few rounds, but tonight he proclaimed a strategic, historic victory over Israel. In a month of fighting, Israel couldn't beat Hizb-Allah. Probably not how its ally, the United States, expected things to turn out. For George Bush, this is a bad chapter in the war on terror. And then we reach Bint Jbeil, entering an area unseen since the worst of the fighting. For 3 weeks, Israel tried to take this town. It failed and it destroyed it. Well, we've been walking for a few minutes now. The damage here is absolutely incredible. I haven't seen a single building that isn't damaged in some way. Many have been flattened, many have been singed. This town has really been wiped out. The more we walked, the worse it got. 7,000 people used to live here. The international community may well ask how Israel can explain all this in the name of fighting Hizb-Allah. Even the hospital was destroyed. The staff had to abandon it when the bombing got too bad. Deep in the town, we found Fairuza, traumatised and desperate. She and her family were trapped here during all the shelling. Inside, a relative who cannot walk, hiding in the toilet. This man too is old. We were the first people to reach them. They were grateful that anyone had come. They'd all been here for 6 days, with the bodies of 2 neighbours trapped beneath the rubble. They couldn't sleep because of the shelling and the smell of death. We left with the promise that we would send the Red Cross to rescue them. To many here and elsewhere in the Arab world, Hizb-Allah are now covered in glory. But all of this has come at a very high cost. Orla Guerin, BBC News, Southern Lebanon.